So, a few years ago, when I started my apprenticeship as a chef, there was a time when something inside of me let go. To me, it was such a hard time that a part of me was just okay with dying. And it wasn't even in a suicidal or in a dramatic way at all, really. It was really just some internal feeling of and it was just that. And then after that, I found out about the term awakening and what they described. How they described the term awakening really did fit with what I felt in this situation when I really was just kind of letting go of life. And then I got sucked back into life, and I was really struggling trying to handle things and really being attached to life. And then it took me such a long time to really get back into this state because I was craving that same kind of peace that I had. And I know a lot of you guys also crave this kind of liberation, this feeling of being free. And then I was looking for answers, watching videos of J. Krishnamurti, Alan Watts, Eckhart Tolle, watching videos about people who explained Buddhism, and I was just trying to get that one piece of information that will get me back into this feeling of completely surrendering and letting go and really just being at peace. And it took me such a long time to really understand what it really is. And it's really, to really put it simple, you just gotta let go of life. Because when you're so interested in the philosophy of Zen, for example, then that's still kind of an attachment. When you're meditating, you're really not meditating to make progress in Zen. You're meditating to die. You're really meditating to let go of life. And whenever something's coming up that seems to be important, that will pass. It's not that important in that moment. You really don't have to overthink life. Imagine you're dying right now. Well, actually, there was a meditation I did. I can really remember that kind of meditation. That meditation that I did. It was a guided meditation where someone said that imagine that you're gonna die right now. In 5 minutes, in 5 minutes you're gonna be dead. And then the brain was slowing down because it felt like it doesn't matter, thinking doesn't matter, and planning doesn't matter, and trying to heal my past there's no value in it anymore because I'm gonna die in 5 minutes. And I think you get what I'm trying to say. So it's really letting go. And when you're doing that, you're transcending all of your fake problems that you don't even really have. You're just imagining that you're having them. For example, when you're at home and you're asking yourself what to do because going to work is so taking up so much energy, but you're at home worrying about that. So that's the actual problem. It's taking you a lot of energy to worry about this kind of problem. If you would relax internally, you could just move your body and work and do what you're supposed to do without spending any kind of mental energy because you're internally at peace. So that's really it. That's really what it did. What did it for me? Letting go internally. To the point where it feels like dying. really accepting that things are gonna pass. Which is a kind of truth that many people are struggling to accept, but it's still a truth that we all have to embrace at some point. And it is liberating to know that, to accept that, and to also feel and meditate in such a way where you can just accept it, that this body's not gonna stay. Whatever you like, whatever you love, it's not gonna stay. And you know, the cool thing about it is that when you truly accept it, you transcend the fear of death. Then it transcends most of your fears all at once. Because a lot of people are doing things they don't really want to do because they're afraid. We live in a society where most people are driven by fear, because it's a tool that is used to manipulate and control, right? And if you're really not afraid, then you're not able to be manipulated and, you know, controlled. But I'm making this video because I know there are a lot of people out there like I was, who are really trying to get this feeling of liberation. And really all you have to do is say goodbye to life. Not in a dramatic or suicidal way, not at all. When you say goodbye to life, what that actually does is your ego lets go of all its projections, of all its little reasons to say, oh, I'm suffering, my life is so horrible, you know, all these mental activities. It's dying from that. And then you are left in some kind of space. Like, I just have to use a word. Let's call it space. You are left in some kind of space where mental projections are just not here. And there's just this ultimate peace. And once you're there, it is kind of obvious or clear that this is life itself. This is the source of life, and it cannot go away. It is not mortal. It is really who you are beyond the physical body. And if you're suicidal, it can even take away your suicidal thoughts, because you finally get that relief that you were trying to get in life. It is this kind of you know, when you're incarnated, you're actually not really incarnated in the physical body only, but also in your mental projection of who you think you are, and what your life is, and how hard your life is, and all the struggles, and you know, that's all just activity in your mind. And you can, when people are trying to heal it, they're trying to separate themselves from the mind, and they're trying to fix it here and there, and trying to understand it here and there, and blah, blah, blah. And it can help, of course, to some extent. But if you're really trying to fix your mind with the intention to feel a sense of liberation after the healing, that's not gonna work. If you really want this sense of freedom, liberation, feeling like you're newborn, then first you have to let go of the life you know, the kind of life you know. Everything you love, everything you hate, your opinions about life, and what you're trying to change, and all of your projections. And the easiest way to do that is to really just sit down and say to yourself, let go of life altogether. Everything is allowed to go, because it will go anyway. And when this happens, there's just really this kind of peace that surpasses all understanding. Really. And it was always so easy, but of course it is the ego is afraid. And if it takes some time for you to really accept that and let go truly, that's okay. Completely okay. All right. This sounds so, almost. It does not sound good when I say this, but it is almost as if the biggest desire of the ego is actually to die, because it wants relief and release all the time. It is afraid of death because it wants to have a story, But anytime or every time the ego does something to get some kind of pleasure, then there is a feeling of relief or release or letting go involved. It is a small death. When you're smoking a cigarette, you're letting go. It is the letting go of life, me and my story. That's what the ego wants. It has a desire. It says, I need to get there, and when I'm there, then I can finally let go. And there's a brief moment of relaxation and letting go, and your desire is satisfied. And in that moment you're letting go, you don't have to do anything until the next desire arises. And then there's a new kind of tension, and you're incarnated again into me and my story and my struggle and my life, and I really have to go there. And you really think that there is a lot of meaning inside of it, inside of this whole thing, but it's gonna pass. So when you accept that, then you can have this kind of relief as your natural state, because it is your natural state if it's not clouded by all these attachments and desires. It's just your natural state to be relaxed and to be in this, with one leg you're in life, with one leg you're like in this, what should I call it, death or afterlife or the Tao or whatever, or in consciousness. You're like living in both worlds. In one world, there's just nothing. Nothing's happening. There's just infinite peace, space. In this other world, it's just this seemingly physical world where you can participate and do what you're supposed to do without really being worried. Yeah, it's really that. And life is only really worth living when you can let go of it. When you're clinging to life, that feels like death. When you can allow it to just be, and it is allowed to flow, things are allowed to leave you, things are allowed to die, things are allowed to go away. When you allow it, there's this boundless love, unconditional love, freedom, and you feel like you can breathe. When you're clinging to life, you cannot breathe. It's just this tension. You think you have to keep things, That's suffering. When you're suffering, that's death of the spirit. All right. So I think that's it for today. Yeah, if you want to, you can like this video, leave a comment and subscribe. And have a great day.